There are many Casios available for $20 or under, and although they're great watches, you do get what you pay for. Compromises have to be made in terms of build quality to keep the prices down. Spend a little over $20 and you can get the W219H, which has better build quality, but is it as good as a G-Shock? In this video we'll try and find out. The W219H was first released in 2021 and I picked up this negative display variant, the W219H-8BV, in Thailand for the equivalent of $25 US. Shop around though and you should be able to get one for well under $20. As it's been on sale for over 2 years, various colorways have been released during that time with different positive displays and strap colors. The first thing that I noticed about the watch is how well built it was. It has a decent weight to it, coming in at 40 grams, and the round case is very reminiscent of the G-Shock DW6900. This is a limited edition time distortion series, which costs about 5 times the amount of the W219H, but is it 5 times better? To find out, I'm going to compare the two watches and score them in terms of case design, legibility, strap, features, water resistance, and illumination. Firstly, case design, and the G-Shock DW6900 has the classic round case, which measures 50mm in width and 52mm in length. It has a recessed mineral glass crystal and protruding bumpers at the side to protect the buttons. The W219's case is also round like the G-Shock, but Casio does try to differentiate it by giving it 4 imitation screws at each corner and a diamond cross knurling pattern at the bottom. It measures 47mm in width and 48mm in length. At the sides of the case you also get the bumpers to protect the buttons. The crystal is made from resin, but it is protected from scratches by being recessed from the surface. It's also shrouded by bumpers at the top and the bottom of the case. On the wrist it never feels too large, even on my 16cm wrists, and there's a solid presence to it. It is comfortable to wear and has a solid reassurance to it that you only get from wearing chunky watches. Both watches feature large steel pushers at the sides of the case, meaning that they can be operated on while wearing gloves. At the back, both watches use a steel backplate held down by 4 screws. And now onto the scores for the case design. The G-Shock's case feels solidly built as you would expect from a G-Shock. What is surprising is that the W219H's case feels just as well built, and the design features some interesting design touches such as the 4 screws. And for this reason they get a point each. Legibility now, and the DW6900 has a surprisingly small panel dedicated for the display of time, considering the size of the watch. This is because nearly half of the dial's real estate is taken up by the triple graph display at the top. The triple graph display does make nice visual eye candy as it shows the counting seconds, but apart from that it serves no real purpose. Telling the time is easy when the watch is viewed straight on, but any slight deviation from that and the display becomes washed out. The W219H has a large LCD panel and the home screen shows the time, day and date that's easily readable thanks to the large digits. Even at an angle the time is still readable despite this model having a negative display. For having a more readable display, the point for legibility goes to the W219H. For the strap, the DW6900 comes with a 26mm wide resin strap with a 16mm fitting and a metal buckle. It does feel durable, but also feels a bit stiff. The strap on the W219H is 25.5mm wide with an 18mm fitting. It seems to integrate seamlessly with the case due to the diamond cross knurling pattern. Even though it's also made of resin, it feels more rubbery and pliable than the G-Shock and more comfortable on the wrist. In terms of the original straps that comes with the watches, they both feel durable and of a higher quality than that you get on the entry-level Casios. For the feel on the wrist though, the W219H feels more comfortable, and for that it takes the point. Features now, and this DW6900 is one of the latest versions of this watch, and yet it still uses a 3230 module that's coming on to 30 years old. You get a single alarm which you can set to come on a particular day or to turn on every day. Most Casios don't allow you to set the date for the alarm, only the time. A countdown timer with auto repeat function, and you can set that to count down from a maximum of 24 hours. A 100th of a second chronograph, and you can still view the time while you're in the chronograph and timer modes. The W219H uses a 3224 module which offers only the bare minimum functionality in a digital watch. You get a single daily alarm with an hourly signal. And also a 100th of a second chronograph. And the win for features goes to the G-Shock. Water resistance now, and the W219H comes in with 50 meters. How do I know this? It's because it says so on the case. Not to be outdone, the DW6900 has 200 meters of water resistance, as is the standard with all G-Shocks. I have used the W219H at the deep end of my swimming pool, and it survived to tell the tale. Most people will be fine with a watch offering 50 meters of water resistance, but the G-Shock does offer more, and for that it gets the point. Illumination now, and the DW6900 is one of the last few G-Shocks to use an electroluminescent backlight. These are being phased out and you get 2 seconds of illumination when you press the button. You can also set the EL backlight to flash when the alarm or countdown timer is activated. I'm not sure how useful this is, but it does look pretty cool. The backlight on the W219H comes from a single amber LED, and it does a pretty decent job of providing illumination. One drawback though is that you need to keep your finger on the button, as there is no 2-second afterglow. Also, they have moved the backlight button to the bottom right instead of the usual top right position. For having the best backlight, the point for illumination goes to the G-Shock. The W219H gets a total of 3 points and gets narrowly beaten by the G-Shock, which gets 4 points. That's not a bad score considering that the Casio costs a fraction of the G-Shock, and I would say that the W219H is about 80% as good as the DW6900. G-Shocks were intended to be rough and tough watches, but now with most people collecting limited and special edition models, we now need a new beta watch to act as a substitute. This is where the W219H comes in, a tough watch to wear and to take places where we wouldn't take other watches. So with that in mind, it's perhaps become the new G-Shock. Thanks for watching folks, and I'll catch you in the next video.